Good morning, dear children. I welcome you all for today's video class. Let's start a new lesson today. The lesson name is What is Moral Action? This is an essay written by Gandhiji. So, Gandhiji doesn't need an introduction, why? Because we all are very familiar how Gandhiji was, isn't it? A person who strived and struggled to bring freedom to our country. I request you to read the introductory part of the author, children, yourself. Let's proceed. There is a pre reading activity and a very interesting quote and very famous quote which we know very well. Honesty is the best policy. Do you agree? Discuss in pairs. Honesty means the thing, the work, the deeds which you do truly by your intention, good intention. That is honesty, children. Truthful, faithful towards your work. Am I right? So, honesty is the best policy. Here, it says that whenever you are working with honesty and integrity, then the work will be successful. If there is no honesty, if there is no truthfulness, if there is no faithfulness in that, the one thing that we should keep in mind is we should be very dedicated towards our work. We should be true by our heart and mind. And we should understand what is the purpose of that work. It should benefit others also, it should benefit us also. It should not happen that the work which is done by you will be giving profit only to you, not for others. That's what I think, children. I think it. See, now as the lesson name is moral action, I would like to grab your attention towards the moral values. So, what are moral values? The moral values are not learned directly in the school, children. The moral values you start learning by your home itself. The atmosphere created by your family makes you to understand the importance of moral values. Everything, respecting the elders, speaking in low and loud voice, then treating the young ones, helping others. Are you going to learn all these kinds of things in a special institution? Is there a special institution for all these moral values, children? Nothing. There is no special institution, such kind of institutions where you are going to be trained. You will be getting training on certain values. Am I right or not? So, by your young age, when you start learning, when you start understanding in your young age, you will come to know the importance of the moral values. So, what are those? Honesty, courage, fairness, respect, caring, and trust. The things money can't buy, children. This is the fact. We can say the ironic truth of the life. The manners. We cannot buy the manners by the money. Morals, respect, character, common sense, trust, patience, class, integrity, and love. These all things are considered as priceless. And we have to inculcate these all things, the priceless things, in our behavior. So, how we should inculcate it? It depends on our mindset, children. It depends on our practice. Practice means it is not forcefully you should do. It should not happen that to show off you are a good person, you will be practicing the moral values. It should come by your own will. Nobody should force you. Nobody should tell you that this is the moral value you should inculcate. It should come by yourself, means you should realize it. You should realize that what is good for yourself and for others also. As I told you, the moral value starts by home itself. So you will start learning by home what is wrong, what is right. So what this picture tells us, children? Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was considered as the what? Mother of all. She was having a kind heart. She was helping the poor and needy people. She was treating the diseased people. Am I right? Such a person who dedicated the life for the orphans, for the diseased people. She was full of compassion. Yes, she was full of compassion, integrity, and always extended her hand to help the needy people. See, one thing we should keep in mind whenever we are helping others or extending the hands to help others, should not keep in mind that you should have a camera with you. There is no need of camera, children. Now, nowadays, the trend is going on. If you go to help a beggar, if you go to help the poor people, some people they carry the cameras with them. They'll be helping at one side and another side they will be taking the pictures. Is it right? Is it a moral action, children? Just I want to discuss in brief before starting the lesson why I am discussing all these things, because these things matters a lot. Are you doing by your own will for your self satisfaction? Are you kind because to show others that you are kind, or you think it is right for a human nature? It is a nature, a kind of nature for of human beings. Am I right or not? So here we can see a boy is helping, giving the alms to the beggar, giving charity, the alms. See, the important days we celebrate a lot, children. The important days like the birthdays, then the birthdays of the legends. What I feel is whenever you will be celebrating your birthdays, instead of spending a lot of money on celebration, if you go and give charity to orphanage or the old age home, then that would be better. I feel so. Why? Because it will be memorable, children. One, if you are celebrating a birthday of, if you are celebrating a birthday, then if you go and give a charity to orphanage, they'll be very grateful for you, and that shows your human nature, humanity. Always we have to carry this, children. We have to follow humanity. That's what we can learn from Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi ji, and some more. There are many more people living in our country, in other countries, who has hidden their names. They don't come in front of media and they don't publish their names, that they are helping the needy and poor people. Same way, without knowing, without publishing your names, or without making others to know you, you can keep your names secret and you can help others. Helping mind, if you create a mind to help others, children, that's it, that is enough. Intention matters. What is your intention? If your intention is to show off, that is not good. If your intention is to help others in their difficult times, that is good for you. you will be earning blessings, you will be having self satisfaction, isn't it? So, before starting a lesson, there is a video, children. I request you to watch that video, then we will continue again.
A.D. Williams once said, "Imagine what 7 billion humans could accomplish if we loved and respected one another." Just imagine. Imagine if there was no greed. Imagine if there was no comparison. If everyone was running their own race, but cheering for all others at the same time. Maybe we'll never see that in our lifetime. But what we all can do is start with ourselves. Start with yourself. Choose to lift others up. Choose to set the example of kindness and integrity, the example of compassion and understanding. There's a quote that says, "No matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all." Integrity is everything. It really is. Who you are is far more important than what you have, and it will always be. Who you are is measured by how you make others feel. Be kind to each other. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world. Decide you will not wait for someone else. You will set the example. Be kind. Because you never know how much that person is suffering inside. You never know the difference your words can make, the difference your presence can make, the difference you can make to one human life. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of humanity. Be the reason someone else decides to make a difference in others. Be the influence you want to see more of. Always do what is right, not what is easy in the moment. Kindness spreads like a virus. When you do good to another, that person does better to those they come in contact with. You really can make a big difference in the world today and every other day. Anne Frank said, "In the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit." No one has ever made themselves great by showing how small another is. Be kind and always build others up to the best of your ability. Treat everyone with the same level of kindness that you would like for yourself. Not because everyone is nice, but because you are. Because karma makes no mistakes. Because it is right. Because you have integrity. Because you want this world to be better when you leave than when you arrive.
I hope you have understood what is moral action now. Let's see what message Mahatma Gandhi ji want to convey us through this essay. When can it be said that a particular action is moral? In asking this question, the intention is not to contrast moral with immoral actions, but to consider many of our everyday actions against which nothing can be said from the conventional standpoint and which some regard as moral. Now, here the essay starts with the difference between moral and immoral actions. Our everyday actions may be morals, sometimes children, and maybe sometimes immorals. So, we cannot regard it as immoral and moral. Intentionally, unintentionally, those actions happen, those actions occur. So, here Gandhiji want to grab our attention towards the actions which occur without our consciousness. Means we'll be not knowing. Suppose see if you will be going to a temple, then suddenly someone you watch, a person, a old person is sitting on the bench in the park and he is very tired. He is unable to go back to his home. What will you do? Is it important for you to go to the temple and pray, or is it important to help that old man? What will you do, children? Yes, of course. The time demands that you should help the needy person. So you will go and help that old man. You will help to help him to reach his home, isn't it? Reach his house. So later you will go to the temple. It is not that you will leave that person there only on his own condition and you will go to pray to the temple. So these kinds of actions will be occurring, children, in our life. We will be not knowing this. Sometimes morals, sometimes immorals. Sometimes happens. Suppose you are entering a hotel and suddenly by mistake a waiter comes and accidentally he dashes with you and the glass of water falls on your shoe. So what happens? You will get angry or not? Because in a hurry you want to finish off your breakfast and suddenly he comes and means it is accidentally happens and you will get angry. Suddenly you will react, and this is immoral action, children, without our understanding. Means it happens. That's what I want to make you understand about the difference between moral and immoral actions which occur in our daily life. Most of our actions are probably non moral, they do not necessarily involve morality. For the most part, we act according to the prevailing conventions. Such conventional behavior is often necessary. If no such rules are observed, anarchy would be the result, and social intercourse would come to an end. Still, the mere observance of customs and usages cannot properly be called morality. Here, Gandhiji tells us that if you are willing to do something good for others, the act should be true. Means it should not that it should be done only to show off, only to show others. So it's a unusual behavior, children, often necessary actually. There are no certain rules to follow our moral actions. There is no law made for that. That at particular day you have to follow this moral action. Is it there? Is it there any law made for that, children? That particular day you have to follow this moral action. On Monday you will be following respect action. Then on Tuesday you will be following integrity. Is it? Nothing like that. So it all depends on the behavior of a human being, how he maintains his social connections. That's what this paragraph tells us. A moral act must be our own act, must spring from our own will. As I was telling you before, the moral action should be our own will. If we act mechanically, there is no moral content in our act. Such action would be moral if we think it proper to act like a machine and do so. So, mechanically, we cannot act. We cannot act like machines. Means we are having emotions. We are human beings. We know what is good and what is bad. We know what is right and what is wrong. So, according to our will, if we feel like it is good, we should follow it, children. If we feel like it is wrong, we should not follow it. Just we have to think twice and thrice. The thing what you are doing, the work what you are doing, is it giving a self satisfaction or not? Is it making others happy or not? For in doing so, we use our discrimination. We should bear in mind the distinction between acting mechanically and acting intentionally. So here, Gandhiji want to bring a difference between acting mechanically and intentionally. It may be moral of a king to pardon a culprit, but the messenger bearing the order of pardon plays only a mechanical part in the king's moral act. So, to make us understand more about the mechanical and intentional difference between mechanical and intentional, Gandhiji gives an example of king here. When a king orders the messenger to bring a culprit in front of him, culprit means the person who has committed a crime. So, what the messenger does, he takes an order from the king, and his duty will be to bring the culprit in front of the king. So, he does. It is called as mechanical part, children. Here, king's moral is not highlighted here. Means his messenger's behavior doesn't matter here. But if the messenger were to bear the king's order, considering it to be his duty, his action would be a moral one. Now, bringing the culprit in front of a king is a mechanical, and obeying the order. Are you understanding, children? Obeying the order, acting according to the order of the king, is moral. That means he showed his loyalty towards his duty. How can one man understand morality who does not use his own intelligence and power of thought? Yes, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen means it is not possible to understand by his own intelligence and power of thought, but lets himself be swept along like a log of wood by a current. Accidentally, the actions will be happening in our life, children. Accidentally, we uh, had not predicted it. Sometimes we not predict it. It happens. Sometimes unintentionally we help others, unintentionally we hurt others. Sometimes a man defies convention and acts on his own with a view doing absolute good. Such a great hero was Wendell Phillips. Addressing an assembly of people, he once said, so the acts unintentionally and intentionally, he talks about that. So he gives an example of Wendell Phillips here. Once he was addressing an assembly, he was giving a speech to the audience. He said, till you learn to form your own opinions and express them, I do not care much what you think of me. Thus when we all care only for what our conscience says, then alone can we be regarded to have stepped on to the moral road. We shall not reach this stage. As long as we do not believe and experience the belief that God within us, the God of all, is the ever present witness to all our acts. So, what he said, children, what he addressed. Till you learn to form your own opinions and express them, I do not care much what you think of me. That means he was following his own will. What other people think was not bothering him. He was not at all giving attention on others' opinion. What was his opinion? What was his will? He was considering his own will as the most important. So he says here, till you learn to form your own opinions and express them, I do not care much what you think of me. Until you understand me, don't tell about your opinions. And that doesn't matter him to Wendell Phillips. Thus, here, what our conscience says here, children, that when we start to walk on a moral road, we reach a certain stage. And what is that certain stage? We start believing and experiencing we start believing in good things and experiencing the good things also. And that makes us to have a strong belief in God also. So Gandhiji says here, God within us, the God of all. Am I right? The God within us, the God of all, is ever present to witness to all our acts. Means if the Almighty, if we develop a consciousness that God, the Almighty, is watching our deeds, and He'll be giving, He'll be repaying it. So this consciousness makes us to do more good things, children, more good deeds, isn't it? We'll continue this paragraph, the same paragraph, in next session, children. That's all for today's session. Meet you in the next class, next video class. I request you to read this lesson again and again. And if you feel difficulty, then ask me in Google Classroom. Thank you.